Hi, and welcome to another one of my Learn and Grow Snappy Chats. This is all about businesses and it's all about the challenging we face. I'm Christine Bell, but it's not about me today. This is all about learning in business as small business owners. Why I'm doing this is because it can get like a really lonely ride. I know this for myself for the last 9 years. And we all go through the same challenges in business, yeah? So especially if you're a small business, we have many of the same challenges and we can all learn and grow from each other. And coming together and building a network makes it a lot more easier to go through those challenging times. So with this in mind, I'm going to introduce my fantastic guest. She actually is from Sydney, but she lives in the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia, which is a beautiful, beautiful place. Her beautiful name is Aldwyn. She is the media queen. She has 40 years of experience. She started at 10 years old in mass media. She's got so much experience in terms of how we can be seen, heard, acknowledged, and get our name and our business out there. So I can't wait to bring her on. I'm going to bring her on and you're going to learn from her. She's a fantastic critical thinker. She's a truth speaker and she's got so much to share with us when it comes to mass media and building a business because she's been in business for a long time. So with this in mind, let me bring on the beautiful Aldwyn. Aldwyn, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Christine. Great to be here.
Wonderful to have you here. So I'm just keeping an eye on the comments as well. And thank you for yesterday. I did a fantastic interview with you yesterday. It was a 2 hours chat. I was a bit exhausted at the end. Wow, we covered everything. So what is your name of that chat? Because they can find you on LinkedIn. And I think we've got your LinkedIn in the bio already. So if the people want to look at that, what was the name again of the truth?
Yes,
the truth
Total
show, yeah?
Truth Show. It was Total Truth Show. We talked about the truth about your customers. It was a fantastic episode. And we covered
everything.
So much ground. It was absolutely brilliant. So people can actually see that now. It's been streamed out to Facebook. It's on YouTube, LinkedIn. They can look at Total Truth Show Facebook page on the podcast platform. So yeah, they could just Google or go to my Linktree. It's got all my links, which is the Linktree/Aldwyn.
I love that. I just want to say hello. We got Sierra in the house, Melissa, and we got Chris as well, and Claudia. They're all tuning in from America. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. They're part of the Hounds. So if you don't know about the Hounds of Business, which is run by Mike Aschenbrowner, you might be interested as well. It's a great community that's building right now on LinkedIn and beyond. And it's on Mighty Network. If anyone is interested, reach out. It's amazing. All these people are fantastic people who are part of it. So with this in mind, I'm so admire what you do and how long you've been in business and what you do. But tell us a little bit more so people can get to know you because you've got 40 years of experience in mass media, including publishing, TV, everything.
Yes, thank you, Christine. Well, that's right. I did actually start at 10. I'm 50 years of age this year, and I was actually a top junior table tennis player in Sydney, where I grew up.
Wow.
And I was interviewed by the Manly Daily when I was 10 years of age. And then at age 11, I was on Cartoon Connection on Channel 7. And I remember being in the studio and there was this massive camera in the studio. And the host turned to me and said, Aldwyn, just don't think of the 2 million people watching this right now. And I remember I was 11 at that point. And then I looked at the camera and I froze. It was the worst interview. All I could think about was the 2 million people watching this right now. However, what they had in the studio at the time is they had a table tennis table there. And my brother and I, we got on and we just started playing forehand to forehand. I thought, I'm just going to focus on this table tennis ball. I'm not going to look at that camera. And we got about 10 shots on and they loved it. They got the clapping machine going. And we thought, oh my God, it's like you haven't seen our smashes and our chops and our really cool shots, right? You're just seeing us warming up. But the thing is, for most people, they can't get more than 2 balls on at a time. So for them, it was amazing, and there was so much I learned from that later in life where, often we're sitting on an absolute goldmine with our businesses and with what we do, and we don't see it because we do it all the time. We don't see the genius of what we do, yet other people could look at you and say, wow, that's amazing that you do that. So then I went on, I did a radio show at age 13 at Radio Manly Warringah. I did some work experience at the Manly Daily at 16. I ended up doing a media degree in Canberra. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Communications, majoring in media, photojournalism, TV production in Canberra. And that was back in the film days when you had to know how to take a photo. Back then, it's changed a lot now with digital photography, I must say. And then I went on and I worked in TV, radio and print media across Australia for 20 years. And now I've had my own media business as well for 22 years now this year, which is extraordinary. It's been quite a ride, Christine.
Wow, I love it. And you are definitely the person to go to both in Australia and also overseas in terms of getting media exposure, yeah? and helping people get seen, heard, and acknowledged and get their word and their name out there. So I want to go back to what you just said, because, you know, you went on TV in front of 2 million at 11 years old. And you froze, like you said. So what is your biggest advice? Because you know how to be, I know you were also a TV host at some point. So what is your biggest advice to people? Because, you know, when we become a small business owner, it's quite confronting to even put ourselves out on LinkedIn, you know, let alone, you know, in front of 2 million people. What's your best advice? I know you talked about it in terms of just getting on with the table tennis, but what would be your advice when we don't have that in our backyard?
Yes, well, definitely don't think of the 2 million people watching this right now. That's definitely my number one advice.
Yeah.
But really, more so, it's about coming from the heart. I mean, I've learned since then. I've learned so much since then. I have learned to come from the heart, to look at how I can be of service, to also build my own personal confidence. Because a lot of the time when people get nervous on camera, they're too worried about what other people think, or how they're going to come out, or how they're looking, or, you know, all that stuff is all in the head. And we can be our own worst enemies with the stuff that goes on in our head. So it's very important to be able to manage the conversations that are happening in your head, the monkey chatter, right? Or some people say the itty bitty shitty committee, right? The itty bitty shitty committee in the head, and come back to the heart, right? And come back to, you know, it's something I say before I speak, before I do my interviews. I always say a little prayer, and I say, please let me say what needs to be said. Please let me say.
I love that. And you did that yesterday with me. And I'm like, wow, that's what I need to do, because that is so important. And you also, we did a little 1 minute meditation where you just went, let's close our eyes. Let's just sit here, just breathe. And then let me say what needs to be said. And it was perfect. Yeah.
Yes. And it's as simple as that. It literally is a 1 minute exercise where you just come back to your body and you take a few deep breaths. It's a great way to presence ourselves. And for a lot of people, they are just so scattered, right? Their minds are all over the place. And this is where every successful person I know meditates. And this is an absolute golden tip I will say for you, is make time in your day to meditate, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, or even if it's 2 minutes a day. There's a great app that I use called Insight Timer. And there's a whole lot of free meditations on there, and you can go in, you can just put in a 5-minute meditation, 10 minutes, whatever you like. So something I do now before I get out of bed is I just make some time to meditate, make some time to focus on my breath, to just come back to the body. This morning, I just did a 90-minute walk on the beach and had a swim in the ocean. And I just thought to myself, here on the Gold Coast, it is absolute heaven. And we are so blessed, even though the government has a lot to answer for. We won't go down that path. I mean, thank God now.
We'll get banned, you and I. So.
Thank God we have now so much media that is not censored, right? However, the world of media has just changed so rapidly since I started out as a journalist back in the day. And the thing is, in media and in business, if you don't move with the times, you are going to get left behind. So
that's such a good point.
Back to your
question.
I
just want to very quickly, I just want to say, I love the whole meditation. So I just want to say, absolutely, I've learned to meditate too. There are free stuff out there. And if you know Diane Dawson, who's on here right now, she taught me the most amazing meditation. It was 1 hour, worth $35 or something, so cheap. And it was just, if you don't know how to meditate, because not everyone can learn it just that easily. If you need to learn it, reach out to Diane Dawson. She's here right now listening in. So back to you. Please talk.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Well, I must say, for a long time, I had a big challenge meditating, because as a media person, as a journalist, it's go, 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 go. It's constant. They say deadlines. I mean, deadline's a very negative word. I prefer time frames, very tight time frames, right? We don't want to be dead on any line, right? We've got to be conscious of our language, I believe, right? So there were strict time frames where it was go, 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 go. And so what I found is I had this addiction to adrenaline. It was this constant sort of anxiety and stress, and the next thing and the next thing, and it was full on. And so I found
you almost get high on that. Yeah, you can actually get high in that job, in terms, because you're on and it's like full on and boom, and you kind of love the high, but it's exhausting and it burns you out.
Absolutely. And it is an addiction. Being a workaholic is an addiction, and also being addicted to the adrenaline and the stress and the anxiety that comes with overwhelm when we take on way too much. And as high achievers, I know a lot of people here on LinkedIn, high achievers, right? There's always more to do as a high achiever in life. And so it's all about, how are you going to be on the journey of achievement, right? While we're doing all this stuff, how can we enjoy the ride and enjoy all the ups and all the downs, learn from the downs, and then move back on up again, and really get conscious to our consciousness, where we're vibrating at in life. And this has been a huge thing for me since I've got into quantum science and quantum physics, and really, got my head around, understood
there's a bigger thing going on in this world. Yeah, it's not just us as human beings, that we have a soul. There's something much bigger that is helping us grow in ourselves on this earth journey. Yeah. And I resonate with what you're saying, because I started out in big advertising in 98. Yeah. A big advertising agency, and it was madman on steroids. Yeah. It was full on. There was so much drugs. There was so much like, who's the next one who's going to get that big million, fantastic ad that's everyone's going to see around the world, creative, achievement. Yeah. And, then I moved into a different kind of same path, but different businesses, because I needed to freaking just come back to me. I lost myself completely. Yeah. Because it's all about being on show. It's all about being cool. It's all about fitting in. No one was confident either. Yeah. And there's a lot of narcissists in that environment. And I bet the same was in your environment, even more so probably in media. Yeah. It burns you out. It burns you out. Like you have to find it. At some point, you have to come back to yourself. If you want your health and your mind and yourself back, and your true self and your critical thinking back, you need to come back to yourself. You need to step away, learn to meditate, learn to figure out who you are, and get confidence. I just want to reiterate everything you just said, because it's golden. It's golden.
Absolutely. And it comes back to being the best version of ourselves we can be, and getting conscious to where we are vibrating at in life. And when I say vibrating at, Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness, Dr. Hawkins, a psychiatrist in America, he wrote a book called Power versus Force.
Yeah, he's dead now, isn't he? But he was amazing.
Yes, I believe he is dead now. However, he did this thing called Map of Consciousness, and there's actually a diagram which shows when we are contracted, when we have different emotions, when we have different feelings and emotions, such as guilt, shame, anger, sadness. Those kind of emotions are very low vibrations, very dense vibrations, and contracted energy. Whereas when we have expanded energy, we come up this scale. And I actually have this drawing in the Conscious Community Global Facebook group. People can actually see it in there. When we come up the scale, the highest vibrations we're going to feel is when we have love at 528 hertz. When we have joy and gratitude, we're at 540 hertz is where we're vibrating at, because we're 99.9% energy, frequency, and vibration. And above that is peace at 600 hertz, and then 700 hertz and above is enlightenment. And this is where, when we meditate, we are actually expanding our consciousness right up here. And when we expand our consciousness, not only do we attract amazing opportunities into our lives, in business, in life, in general, we have a greater experience of life when we have an expanded energy, when we show up that way.
And you know what I love about this, because I have followed Dr. Hawkins on YouTube as well. You can find some free clips on YouTube as well. And it's quite amazing what he talks about. I think, is it Dr. Hicks something? What's her name? I can't remember. I think she talks about, I think she talks about, she talks about it too. But besides that, what I think and what you're saying is, once we are able to move, and for me, it's definitely something where I'm in and out of it more than I would say in it all the time. And that's okay. Yes. I have to be honest about that and be okay with that, as we keep staying more steady in it, in that higher energy. And I think we do develop, or we can develop to become a lot more steady up there. But for me, it's so amazing, because the big switch for me is, I've been a striver. I've been like, let's work hard for it. I can manifest working hard, but it burned me out. And for me, the biggest journey that I'm on right now in the last year is that surrender. Because when you tell me, but up in this energy, it's not about working hard for it. It's about being present. So we allow it in, isn't it? Rather, and surrendering to letting the universe, so to speak, help us, rather than being the one, I'm going to do this. The ego is going to do this. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Surrendering, letting go, letting flow, connecting with source. Because the thing is, we are not alone. We're never alone. We're always connected to source. The source is always there, but we actually, as human beings, we disconnect, right? We think we're alone. The powers that be, they want to control people by divide and rule, right? They have people living in fear, so they divide and rule people. So, even the social isolation, and be 1.5 meters apart, like this is all divide and rule, put a mask on, gag yourself, and people are rising up now and they're saying enough is enough. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to get out there. They realize that life is short, right? And in fact, a third of people die by the age of 65, right? These are the stats, 1/3 of the population. And through the pandemic, we have seen so many people just drop off the planet suddenly, a lot of them from heart attacks, interestingly, from what's happened, which is, it's very interesting what's been going on. And so as this has been happening, I always believe everything is perfect. Everything is in divine order.
It's actually helping us all to come home to ourselves. It's actually helping us all to become more truthful about who we are. And we're not all the same. And everyone has the right to have their own thoughts, feelings, experiences. None of us are, we're all unique. And that's really important to remember as well. Is in terms of let everyone, because it's meant to be this way. Yeah. It's meant for all of us to grow from it. Yeah. In whatever way that looks like.
Exactly. And there's certain things we can control and there's certain things we can't. And as entrepreneurs, we tend to want to control everything, right?
Yes.
Sort of control freak thing that goes on, right? And then also, perfectionism is another thing, right? And a lot of people let perfectionism get in the way of progress. So, the main thing is just to stay on the roller coaster ride of life, to enjoy the journey with all of its ups and downs. And when we have those downs, there's some learning. So the sooner we get those learnings, the sooner we can bounce back up again. And it's to allow that flow to happen and to notice when we get triggered, right? The feeling leads to the healing, right? The healing is in the feeling. So notice how you're feeling at any moment. Notice if someone says something that upsets you, if something happens out with the government, etc., that really upsets you and angers you. Notice when that happens, because often it's a sign to either speak up or step up about it or do something about it. And if we don't, then we're going to be one of these people, one of the 90% that die with regrets. That's the stats. 90% of people.
That is such an important thing. This thing, when we are triggered, it's so easy to blame the person for saying things we did not like or behaving in a way that we did not like or was disrespectful to us. And that might be very true. They may have disrespected. I've had a lot of narcissists in my life. They may be disrespectful. They may gaslight you. They may do all this nonsense right to your face. But if we're triggered, it's because there is a learning in it for us. There is something in us that's still buying into the nonsense that they're throwing at our way, yeah?
Exactly. And if we don't get the learning, we will keep attracting the same things. That's why people attract the same kinds of partners.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people with very low self-esteem, they'll attract these narcissistic partners. And I've done it myself. I've had
I've had bosses like one after the other. They all start out, as they do, like the nicest people ever, who will, shower you with compliment. And because I was looking for validation, I'm like, I'm here, And then the empath in me started listening into what's wrong. Are they feeling this way about me? Because you can feel it. And then you're like, no, I just attracted another one. Yeah. And at one point when I left my job the last time, I walked out, I was burned out, didn't know it. And I walked out and I sat down and I cried for a few months, to be honest. And I had to look at myself and go, hold on, I'm the common denominator here.
Yes.
So what is it that the universe has been screaming at me and gotten worse and worse? One after the other, I'm like, can't get worse, but it could. And then I'm like, I have ignored it completely and taking it on board as my shit. And some of it is my shit, but some of it was theirs too that I took on. And now it's like, okay, we've got to unravel everything, yeah? Everything. And then started my personal journey, which was my business. I call it personal development. It's actually, my business is driving personal development more than the other way around.
Yeah, got it. Well, I mean, business is one of the most challenging things that you will do. And this is where I think an absolutely crucial thing, I believe, as business owners and as people in general, is actually to do the work on ourselves, to invest in personal development, to do whatever it takes to be the best version of you. And this involves having self-love, having self-care, making time. Like, I used to feel guilty if I went out and, like, meditation for me in the past was like a waste of time. Why would you meditate? Got all this stuff to do, like, for me, it was like it didn't make sense. And whenever I went to attempt to meditate, I would generally fall asleep because I was that exhausted, right? And so it's just actually getting conscious to how you're doing life and where do you stand in the wheel of life? Like, how, rate yourself out of, 10 out of 10. How are you in health and relationships? How are you with wealth? How are you with friends? How are you in the area of adventure and travel? How are you spiritually? How, all the areas of life. Usually what happens with a lot of business people is they'll spend their health to get their wealth, right? And then they'll spend their wealth to get their health back. And so it's very important on this journey to make the time to do things that give you joy. And with exercise, I believe it needs to be something that you enjoy doing. So for me, I love yoga, right? Yoga is another great way to connect with source. I love yoga, and I love things like Zumba, right? Zumba's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Zumba's cool. I mean, sometimes I put my back out, but I just keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah, you're doing something fun, and you're also at the beach, so you get to walk on the beach, you get to swim as well. You know, nature is really important. Being in touch with earth, you know, grounding ourselves, all those things really, really help.
Yes, so important. And you know, make the time to do things that you love. And in fact, if you're doing exercise that is actually stressing you out, it can actually be even worse for you than actually doing exercise that you enjoy. So again, it's coming back to that. What is it that brings you joy? And what can you be grateful for right now in this moment? In fact, for those watching, what are you grateful for right now? Just one thing you're grateful for. It's such a simple thing. You know, with my team every morning, we do a daily gratitude check-in. Every morning we say, good morning, 3 things I'm grateful for today, and we say something on the larger scale. So I might say 3 things I'm grateful for today is I'm grateful for the sun. Something smaller, I'm grateful for my cat. And something about myself I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my resilience, right? And this is a great practice. It takes literally 10 seconds to just do every morning. And another practice that I do when I go into the ocean and
let's get everyone in the comments, get you to write down, if you don't mind, write down the things you're grateful for right now. Do this exercise. I'm grateful for finding joy every day, and especially today. You know, look at it's beautiful sunshine. I'm here. I'm healthy. My dog is healthy despite just becoming a one-eyed dog, and I'm happy. And I get to talk to you, and I get to talk to amazing people.
It's beautiful. Look, I love that. And look, that took 5 seconds. And how good do you feel when you get into gratitude? Yet, unfortunately, through the media over the years, we have been conditioned to live in drama. And I mean, they even call it dramas, don't they? Look at Netflix and you know, media channels, right? People are channeled through the media. They're programmed through the media. And this is where it's important to program ourselves, right? And this is when
important.
You know, a lot of people do NLP,
exactly. Like main media is fear porn, it's total fear porn out there, so if we already have some fear in our body and we keep watching TV all day, main media, we're just going to be totally, it's very hard to resist that fear then, because it will connect directly with the fear we have within ourselves, so we haven't healed it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much we can be grateful for. And if you think, you know, 80% of the population don't have proper, you know, access to shelter or running water, or, you know, if you've got shelter and you've got running, you know, clear water and you've got food, then, you know, you're doing well. You're already above a lot of the population. However,
Exactly. I used to do a lot of, in my work when I was in agency, I used to travel around the world, which is amazing. I used to travel to amazing countries doing in-depth qualitative research and strategies around the world. And I've been interviewing people in Soweto, in Johannesburg, you know, where women were setting up businesses together to help each other to create their own wealth and create their own life and independence. I've been to Philippines in, you know, they have different sections depending on the social status, you know, A, B, C, D. They literally put them like that, class them like that. And I was in the East, I think. We were talking to little girls at 7 years old, and they were literally living in a one-bed, you know, little sort of hut with their parents. And you know what? Their dreams were the same as mine when I was that. They wanted to be a princess. They still aspire to everything that every kid does, And they were happy for what they had because they didn't know what they didn't have, So for them to have a little sachet of shampoo so they could actually wash their hair maybe once a month was, you know, they were grateful for it. It was like, holy moly, when we have more, we become absolutely complacent in terms of what we should be grateful for,
so true.
Or what we can be grateful for.
Yeah, and so many people in third world countries and people who are very poor on the outside can be some of the most joyful people, some of the most grateful people. And this is the thing, is life is really simple. It's just all about how are you going to do the journey of life. You know, there's a great poem called The Dash, you know, about what happens from the time you're born to the time you die. And it's really a small little dash of time, really, if you think of eternity. And, you know, how do you want to live your life? And this is where a lot of people, you know, it's like the Walking Dead out there often, where people go, oh, it's Monday. Oh, I'm going to work today. and then Friday, oh, it's Friday, I'm so happy it's Friday. You don't want to be like that. That's a big chunk of your week that you're wasting really doing stuff you don't want to do just for the money. And I always say, love what you do, the money will come, right? So I think,
so if you have a dream of having your business as hard as it is and challenging it is, and we sometimes sit going, holy cow, how am I going to survive this? How am I going to get through this? How am I going to make money? And all the fears comes up. It's actually the journey of life that allows us to clear out that stuff. And remember, do what you love. Yeah. And yes, you may need to make some money on the side if that's what you need, but do what you love most of the time. Choose what you love. Yeah.
Yes, choose what you love. And I come back to filling your own cup up first. What are those big rock items? What are those big rock things for you? Making time in your week for family, making time for your self-care, for your health, making time for your personal development, making time for hanging out with great people. And, 95% of your happiness or misery, they say, comes from who you choose as a life partner. Well, I do believe also, who you choose in your mastermind surroundings. We're talking about the Think and Grow Rich book, right? And I'm talking about the power of masterminds as one of the 13 principles in Think and Grow Rich is the power of masterminds. Who is in your mastermind community, either in business or in life, right? Who are you hanging out with? And are the people you hanging out with, are they lifting you up or are they bringing you down? And sometimes these people are family, right? Sometimes, and so you'd still love those people, of course, because get that hurt people, right? It's not about you. Hurt people. So you just send them love, and just you choose how you want to invest your time. You want to invest your time if people are going to lift you up or they're going to pull you down. Get conscious to that. I think is absolutely huge for how you do life and the quality of life that you have.
Oh my God, I could talk to you forever. And yesterday we talked for 2 hours, but today we're going to finish now because this is Snappy Chat, sort of Snappy Chat. So I appreciate you so much. You have just given us so many gold nuggets. I know everyone here are like, wow, she's amazing. And a lot of them are from the House of Community, which is exactly like you said, find the people in your mastermind you want to hang out with. We can grow together further. So before we finish up, can you please tell us anything that you have coming up, anything where people can find you, how to connect with you, anything you want to share that you're promoting, anything, please, and then we'll finish up. Thank you so much for your time and all your gold nuggets.
Oh, absolutely, Christine. I love chatting with you, and this conversation has just flowed. And this is where you're in flow in life, when things flow and when time and space disappear, when you're in the heart space. And I'm so grateful for this conversation and for everyone who's joining us right now. And please let us know what you've got out of this conversation in the chat as well. I'd love to hear from you. So what we have happening every single month, which is a great practice, is to get into gratitude. We have the Global Good News Challenge every single month. We've been doing this since June 2020. And the whole idea is to lift the energy on the planet and help to decrease depression and suicide rates. Now, a lot of people who've done the Global Good News Challenge also end up getting clients out of it, right? And it's actually amazing free marketing for you because we share your videos out to thousands of people. Wow. So how it works, very simply how it works is you just do a live video for the length of time for the challenge. So now we're in April, we have a 4-day challenge for the 4th month, right? And you can do your 4 days of live videos anytime within April. And all it is you just do a live video on your social media platform of your choice and share your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news. And then
so you do 4 videos in April, 4 videos, one in a row. So, and every day is who you are and what you do and what you're grateful for.
Yes, 3 things you're grateful for and a piece of good news. And the good news could be that you've just seen this amazing podcast today, right? Or good news could be that you're healthy, you're well, you've got great family, whatever it is, right? It could be the simplest things. And the whole idea is that is a practice of gratitude. Now, it's 4 days in a row. So if you miss a day, you go back to day 1 and start again.
Okay. For May, and are you able to put that in the comments afterwards to make sure it's in there, or send it to me and I'll put it in?
Yeah, all the details you'll find of everything I just covered in the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page, pinned to the top of the page. Now, if you go to my link tree, you'll find all of my links, which is linktr.ee/Aldwyn. That has all my links. We have a whole lot of free resources there to help you get media exposure. We have the Mass Media Mastery Program where we work with people and guarantee media exposure. And then we also do PR for people as well. And we help you be seen, heard, and known through the mass media.
You're amazing. We have to finish this, but I'm going to have you back again because this was an amazing conversation. Everyone was loving it. Time went so fast. Everyone was like, this is flowing. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your time. And please go into the comments and respond to everyone. Put everything in there. I'll do it for you. But let's get in touch, everyone. And please connect with Aldwyn. She's amazing. And you will love having a chat with her. Honestly, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you everyone for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.